Good morning, Lufkin Central and online worship community. Jason Hollinger, the campus and community minister here. And we are getting closer to the end of another week of Jesus and Coffee morning devotionals. And as we are getting closer this week, we are still continuing on a series done through the book titled Remembering the Forgotten God, a book written by pastor and author Francis Chan. This morning we are talking about forget about his will for your life. Now, hang in there with me so you can kind of see what we're talking about. But check this out. Listen to this. What are you going to accomplish with your life? It's a big question. Maybe we can break it down into something a little easier. What's your 5-year plan? 5-year plan. Maybe you can answer that question, no problem. Or maybe you feel sick to your stomach when you have to make plans for the weekend. Probably the most asked question at graduation is this: what are you going to do with your life? For whatever reason, we tend to focus on what we can and should do in the future rather than what we can and should do today. See, I told you to hang on with me. Listen to this. This often bleeds over into our relationship with God. Most of the college students that Francis Chan says that he has counseled have a common problem. I want to follow God, but I just can't figure out his will for my life. This can be such a huge preoccupation that they don't consider what God wants them to do right now in the situations he has placed them in at this moment. And listen, you don't need to be a high school graduate, a college graduate, anything to start thinking about that question, or even just wonder sometimes. I joke with people that when I get older, when I grow up, what I'm going to do. And into my 40s, and still thinking about all kidding aside, still thinking about things that I want to do. 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years down the road. Things that I want to accomplish in my life. Now, understand this: there's nothing wrong with pursuing what God would have you do with your life. There's nothing wrong with pursuing that. I encourage you to do that, but let's not get so caught up in what God wants to do 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years down the road in our life that we're forgetting about what God is doing right here and right now. That we lose sight of the moment, and that we can miss so much when we're thinking about those next opportunities, when that one opportunity, that big opportunity, it's right there in front of us. And we can lose sight of that. We can lose sight of what God is doing and what God desires to do, so much to the point that we just miss out on all those times God is seeking to reveal himself to us. God is seeking to show us just the big things that he is doing, the things that he is doing for his people, through his people, through you right now. So let's pick back up here. The moment you heard that question, what are you going to do with your life? Maybe you knew exactly what God would want you to do. Maybe you knew exactly what God would want you to do. He's been calling you to it for a long time, but maybe you've been writing it off as anything but the voice of God. If that's the case, consider leaving this study and following the Spirit, and leaving this moment, this devotional time this morning, and just launch into what God is calling you to. He's leading you to it. Just go for it. Just see what happens. Don't let me hold you up in these next few moments. But if you want to hear a little bit more, If you want to hear a little bit more, listen to this. This may be a tough question for you to answer. You may have no idea what God might call you to. Okay, you want me to go where it's going? You want me to go right now? Well, that could be a tough question because you're not really sure where God is leading you. And it may be that you're not very comfortable where God is leading you. But that's not really the point. God never promised he would lead us to seasons of comfort. He said he would lead us to seasons of growth, of kingdom growth, of personal growth, of community growth, of church growth. Not numerically. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about spiritual maturity, where God is leading his church. But oftentimes, oftentimes we find ourselves in those Romans 7 moments. What we want to do, we don't do. What we don't want to do, we do. And what a messed up man, what a messed up woman, what just a messed up creation we are, And Paul says, who can save me from this body that obviously leads to death, because sin is just, it's knocking at the door, and man, often there I am to open it up. He says, but thanks be to God, for he gives us victory. And those moments of victory are not a victory that he has in store for us 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. If we do this, and if we meet this, and if we live this way, those moments of victory are for now. They're 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. Because those moments of victory are there in store for us every day of our lives, every moment that we walk in him, that we live in him. We have the opportunity to live this life in such a way that God blesses us, that God fills us with his strength, that God leads us to something huge. And yes, it's good to plan for the future, but what are you doing to look to right here and right now? That's a challenge, I know. It's a challenge that, again, could lead you to an uncomfortable season. Could lead you to a season that you feel ill-equipped. Well, guess what? Alone? Sorry, you're not equipped. But with God, with the one who calls us, we have the one who also equips us for great things, for his things. I can't wait to hear and see how it goes. Y'all have a great day. God bless.